Most people think that they are in control, but their emotions decides everything. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making Emotion, where I'm learning how to master myself, and I'm teaching it while I learn it. Today, we're going to talk about why you're not in control of yourself and you don't even know it. Emotions. Emotions is something, without a doubt, we are all, it's a part of our makeup. We all, in my opinion, are emotional human beings. And I mean it. When I say emotional, it's not a negative situation, it's not from a negative standpoint. Emotions actually serve us uh, in many regards. You know, they wake us up to, I guess, the drives, motors inside of us, such as, happiness, being sad, angry, disgusted, and maybe even surprised. There's different facets of those motors that exist inside of us. And when applied appropriately, when utilized properly, they're beneficial. They've helped us survive many scenarios, many situations we find ourselves in. So emotions they're just part of our makeup. That's what they are. However, when your emotions are somewhat dictated by past experiences, connected to your ego, that's when it's a problem. So we're talking now about from a negative standpoint that takes place and somewhat dictates the drive of a human being is emotional ego, our emotional ego, or ego that's emotional. And that's not good. And that's not good at all. So, as I said before, this is a part of our makeup. But when you are connected to past experiences and guided by that, that's a fault. That's a fault. That's something that we must do our very best to rid ourselves of, and that's not having any control. So what's actually going on is you're allowing past experiences to dictate your actions, the way you move, how you operate, and that's not good. So in the past, situation visits you and you handled it a certain way. So that's creatures of habit, and then something similar come up, and you find yourself responding in the same exact manner. That's something we must do our very best to get rid of, to control. Not to you don't want to try to annihilate your emotions. They're positive. They have benefits. To be mindful, fearful of a situation, that's a good thing. But to react from an emotional standpoint, from it just tied to your ego, that's not good. And I find myself, I've done it often, over and over and over again, and I don't like it. And I'm definitely working towards ridding that from my makeup, not having control. Actually, in all honesty, it's actually equivalent to being a slave to your ego, to a passion that doesn't serve you. And again, I've found myself in that dilemma many times, and it always it's always bad. It never works to. It's never a beneficial thing. It's always a bad scenario. You're thinking about something that happened in the past, something similar, and because you're a slave to that passion, you react the same way. You know what I'm saying? You have a situation with an individual, and you know what you should be doing. You know what you know that you need to be focusing on developing appropriate behavior. You need to be doing something that's going to benefit you throughout the day, throughout your life. But a situation take place and you get stuck. You be fascinated. Your gauge is locked in. You know what I'm saying? And you off your game plan. You're off what you need to be doing. You're off your plan, your mission, and that's a distraction. And we do that. We do that time and time again. We get locked in, and it's because of bad habit, following bad patterns, following the same thing over and over and over. I've heard it said that when you're engaged in war, that you must appropriately look at each scenario individually. Don't go back and think, well, I won this war this way, or I dealt with this situation that way, and this is a cure-all for this particular situation here. And that's not what a real general do. They said Napoleon would look at a scenario, and he would look at each scenario and venture into each one separately. He wouldn't use the tactics that he used for the last war in the next fight. And that's what we must do. We must be able to, I guess, to break down the scenarios that we're dealing with, take some time out and reflect. Reflect, first of all, on what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. And only take a second or two. So when you feel the adrenaline kicks up inside your body, your sensation, your warmness in your chest or whatever, evaluate it. Don't just, and it takes time. The first thing we do is we automatically know, well, this is a unwarranted feeling in my spirit, and I don't want to respond to this, and I shouldn't. But as soon as we say that, we actually find ourselves doing exactly what we know we shouldn't do. We take off and try to deal with the scenario, where that's not the answer. In most cases, it's not the answer to respond to that in that way. Well, actually, let's react to that. It's not, you respond to it by taking out time and visualizing the scenario and thinking about it and trying to figure out the long term, what's best for the long term, not the short, reactionary, momentary, feel good or feel bad or try to deal with the scenario. You have to take time and evaluate the scenario instead of just automatically going with how you feel without putting any logic or reasoning to uh, why you feel like that. And then if you do that properly, uh, you can possibly turn the whole scenario around and find something else to do, put in place of that. But if you don't, because our mind becomes fixated, it becomes fixated on the situation, and you want to change it or deal with it right away. And you're dealing with it from the old tactics. So that's what this is about. We're mastering our mind and making sure that we're doing what's necessary to change the course of our life, to take ownership of our ego, or not even to your emotions, to take ownership of your emotions, and not be driven by them or allow them to control your direction, your momentum. We want to take full responsibility and the moves that we make. It's a must. We have to do this. This is how you claim leadership, mastery over yourself. And it's not that difficult. It just takes it's determination. It's constant practice. It's constant awareness. You have to be aware, of what's going on. And the thing is, we are emotional creatures that's being led by our ego, by the dictates of society, how we've been programmed. And most of what we're talking about is dealing with the programming of how we've been operating. And for the most part, it's robotic. We're not being the creators, tapping into the source that that resides inside of us. If you tap in, and it just takes a few seconds, you know. That's why the pause practice is good. You pause, reflect, breathe, contemplate, meditate, take out the time. Don't just be reactionary. Understand what the emotions are. Dig deep, understand them, and understand what's ruling your emotions. Why do you respond in the way you do? And again, emotions are not bad. I believe we all, I mean, that sensation, that feel good sensation, that's happy, that's sad, these are emotions, but they're tied to something. And it's usually bad habit following a practice that's been practiced time and time again. And this is just how you deal with the scenario. We got to uproot that. We uproot it by taking out the time to evaluate where this feeling come from. Is this what's best for me? We're going to do what we got to do. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to point out some things uh, to you that I'm doing for me. And hope, and I don't see us as separate. I see us as one. I think that we're definitely one. So what's for me is for you. If I said anything that you can relate to, I mean, join me. Help me out. Give me some pep talk. Talk to me. Tell me what you think. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna evolve this, and because this is master making emotion. This is me becoming a master of me. And if you feel this is something that you up to, something that's resonate with your spirit, your soul, tap in. Let's do what we do. Yeah, until the next time, be the example you want to see in the world. Simply just be.